Welcome, friend. You can stop now. Whatever you've been carrying today, whatever you've been pushing through, whatever you've been holding together, you can put it down. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Let your body settle into wherever you are. There's nothing you need to do here, nothing to accomplish, no one to impress. For the next hour, you have permission to simply be. Not productive, not useful, not achieving anything. Just breathing, just resting, just here. If you're here tonight, you might be exhausted. Not just tired, exhausted. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that lives in your bones. You've been running on empty for how long now? Weeks? Months? Longer? You push through your days, checking boxes, meeting deadlines, keeping all the plates spinning. And everyone thinks you're fine. You're handling it. You're strong. But inside, you're hollow, running on fumes. And now, finally, you can rest. Except you can't. Your body is exhausted, but your mind won't stop. Your muscles ache for sleep, but your thoughts keep spinning. And underneath it all, a quiet guilt. That voice that whispers, should you be doing something productive right now? If that's why you're here tonight, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not failing. You're human, living at an inhuman pace. And your body is trying to tell you something. This exhaustion isn't your enemy. It's your body's wisdom begging you to listen. Tonight, we'll explore a teaching that's over 2,500 years old, but speaks directly to this moment. The Buddha discovered something radical, something that challenges everything our culture teaches about productivity and worth. He called it non-striving. Not giving up, not becoming lazy, but understanding that you don't have to earn your right to rest. You don't have to justify taking up space. You don't have to be productive to deserve peace. Through ancient wisdom and the stories of people who found their way back from exhaustion, you'll discover what happens when you finally stop forcing and start allowing. When you release the rope you've been gripping so tightly. When you remember that rest isn't a reward for productivity. It's a requirement for being alive. By the end of our time together, you may find that your body grows heavier, your breath slower, your mind finally quiet. Not because you tried harder to relax, but because you gave yourself permission to stop trying at all. Let's begin by understanding what's happening in your tired body and racing mind. Picture this. The alarm goes off. Before your eyes even open, you feel it. That heaviness. Like you never stopped working. Like you never really slept. You drag yourself out of bed. Shower. Coffee. The motions of starting another day. But inside, you're already tired. You move through your morning. Emails, messages, calls, A performance you've been giving for so long now, you barely remember when it started. You smile in meetings. You deliver. You function. Your colleagues might even think you're handling it well, but you're not present. You're just going through the motions, checking boxes, meeting deadlines, keeping all the plates spinning, and inside you're hollow, running on fumes. The day finally ends. You drive home, or close your laptop, or walk through your door, and your body is screaming for rest, every muscle heavy, every bone aching. You should collapse. You should fall asleep the moment your head hits the pillow, but you don't. Because here's the cruel paradox. Your body is exhausted, but your mind won't stop. You lie here in the dark, and your brain is still going. Tomorrow's meeting, that project you didn't finish, the email you forgot to send, all the ways you're falling behind, all the things you should have done better. Your chest feels tight. Your jaw is clenched without you realizing. Your breathing is shallow, quick, like you're still at work, still performing, still pushing. You check your phone. Maybe that will help. But the blue light just makes it worse. And now you're scrolling through everyone else's productivity, everyone else's achievements. And that voice starts, the one that's been with you all day. Why can't you handle this better? Other people manage. What's wrong with you? You try to relax. You tell yourself, just let it go. Just sleep. But that only makes it worse, because now you're anxious about being anxious, exhausted about being exhausted. You're failing at rest the same way you feel you're failing at everything else. This is what they call wired and tired. Too exhausted to function, too anxious to rest. Your body begging to shut down, your mind refusing to let you, and underneath it all, that quiet guilt. Should I be working right now? Should I be doing something productive? Am I wasting time just lying here? Even in rest, you can't rest, because rest itself feels like failure. If this feels familiar, I need you to hear something. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing at being human. You are responding exactly as humans do to a pace that humans were never designed for. Right now, at this very moment, millions of people are lying awake just like you, exhausted but wired, depleted but unable to stop. This isn't a personal failing. This is what happens when a culture measures your worth by your output, when busy becomes a badge of honor, when exhaustion is proof you're trying hard enough, when rest is something you have to earn. Hustle culture taught you a lie. It taught you that rest is for the weak, that if you're not exhausted, you're not working hard enough, that your value as a human being is measured by how much you produce. It taught you to override your body's signals, to push through fatigue, to wear exhaustion like a trophy. I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? I'll rest when the work is done, but the work is never done. The inbox never empties, the to-do list never ends. And meanwhile, your body is paying the price. Your nervous system wasn't designed for this. Constant alerts, endless availability, always on, never enough. Your body thinks it's under threat, not from a lion or a predator, but from an inbox that never stops, deadlines that keep coming, expectations that keep rising. So, it stays in survival mode, fight or flight, all day, every day. And by the time you lie down at night, your body has forgotten how to shift into rest mode. The gas pedal is stuck, the brake doesn't work anymore. This exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It's your body trying to survive in a system that treats you like a machine. But here's what that system didn't tell you. Your body has wisdom. This exhaustion is it speaking. It's saying, please, stop. I need you to survive. Not, I need you to produce more. Not, I need you to achieve more. Just survive. Because you are not a machine. You are a living being. And living beings need rest, not as a reward, as a requirement. The Buddha discovered something 2,500 years ago. Something that challenges everything hustle culture teaches. He discovered that there's a way to live that doesn't require constant striving, constant proving, constant pushing. He called it non-striving. And it's not what you think. It's not giving up. It's not being lazy. It's not lowering your standards or abandoning your goals. It's understanding something much more radical. You don't have to earn your right to exist. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. You are allowed to rest without justifying it. People have found their way back from where you are now, not by pushing harder, not by trying to force relaxation, but by understanding what the Buddha understood. That the exhaustion itself is the teacher, the body's wisdom, finally breaking through. Let me share their stories, and through their journeys, you might recognize your own path forward. Let's begin with Rachel. Let me tell you about Rachel. She's 36, works as a hospital administrator in Boston. On paper, her life looked successful. Good salary, respected position, making a difference in healthcare. But inside, she was drowning. The pandemic changed everything for Rachel. What used to be 40-hour weeks became 60, then 70. Staff shortages, supply chain crises, patients and families in crisis. And Rachel, in the middle of it all, holding the system together. Or at least, that's what she told herself. If I stop, everything falls apart. If I rest, people suffer. So she didn't stop. She didn't rest. Every morning, her alarm felt like a threat. She'd drag herself to the hospital, smile through meetings, make impossible decisions about resources and staffing. Then come home after dark, collapse on the couch, and stare at her laptop for 3 more hours. Emails, reports, problems that couldn't wait until morning. Her husband would bring her dinner. She'd eat without tasting it. Her daughter would ask her to play. "Not tonight, sweetie. Mommy has work." By the time she got to bed, she was so tired she could barely stand. But sleep wouldn't come. Her mind replayed the day, second-guessed every decision, worried about tomorrow's crisis. And if she did fall asleep, she'd wake at 3 a.m., heart racing, checking her phone for emergencies. This went on for 2 years. 2 years of running on empty. 2 years of telling herself, just get through this quarter. Just get through this month. Just get through today. And then, one afternoon, in the middle of a meeting, Rachel collapsed. Not dramatically. She didn't faint or fall over. She just stopped. Mid-sentence, she started crying and couldn't stop. Her colleague called 911. They took her to her own hospital's emergency room. The doctor who examined her said something Rachel will never forget. "Your body is shutting down. Not from disease, from exhaustion. If you don't stop, your heart will." That was Rachel's turning point. Not the collapse itself, but what the doctor said next. "Do you think the hospital would close if you died from exhaustion?" Rachel stared at him. "Because it wouldn't," he said gently. "They'd replace you in a week. The system would keep going." It sounds harsh, but it was the truth Rachel needed to hear. She wasn't holding the system together. The system was using her up. Rachel took medical leave. 3 months. At first, she couldn't rest. Couldn't stop checking email. Couldn't silence the guilt. Her therapist gave her homework. Impossible homework. Sit for 5 minutes every morning. Don't meditate. Don't try to relax. Just sit. And notice that you're breathing. That's it. 5 minutes of doing nothing. It felt ridiculous, wasteful, like she should be doing something productive. But she tried it. The first week, she lasted 30 seconds before grabbing her phone. The second week, a full minute. By the third week, something shifted. She noticed, for the first time in years, that she was breathing, that her body was working to keep her alive without her effort, without her control. Her heart beating, her lungs filling, her body still trying to care for her even after she'd pushed it to the edge. Rachel started practicing good enough. Not perfect, good enough. The report didn't have to be flawless. It had to be done. The decision didn't have to be perfect. It had to be made. She set a boundary she'd never set before. No work emails after 7 p.m. At first, it terrified her. What if there's an emergency? What if someone needs me? But emergencies are rare. And the ones that happened, someone else handled. The world didn't end. The hospital didn't close. She practiced a body scan every night before sleep, starting at her head, moving down, not trying to fix anything, just noticing and releasing. You can rest now, she'd whisper to each part of her body. You've done enough. You can rest. Today, Rachel still works at the same hospital, but she's different. She sleeps through the night now, most nights anyway. She leaves work at work, closes the laptop, turns off notifications. And the surprising thing? Her performance reviews actually improved, not despite the rest, because of it. When she's at work, she's present, clear-headed, making better decisions. But more importantly, she has a life now. She plays with her daughter, laughs with her husband, remembers what it feels like to be a person, not just a worker. Rachel learned something the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. The world doesn't need your exhaustion. It needs you alive. Rest isn't something you earn. It's how you survive. Rachel's path was learning that rest isn't weakness. But sometimes, the block goes deeper than just permission. Sometimes, it's about who you think you are. Let me tell you about Thomas. Thomas is 51, a senior software engineer at a tech company in Seattle. He's been coding for 30 years. Started when he was 21, fresh out of college. And for 3 decades, he measured his worth by one thing: what he produced. Thomas grew up in a family where love was conditional. Good grades? His father smiled. Bad grades? Silence. Accomplishments were celebrated. Struggles were not discussed. So Thomas learned early, your value is what you achieve. If you're not producing, you're worthless. And that belief carried him through 3 decades of career. For years, it worked. He was the guy who shipped code, who solved impossible problems, who worked weekends when projects were behind. His colleagues respected him. His managers praised him. His identity was clear. Thomas equals productivity. Productivity equals worth. But then something changed. He turned 50, and suddenly he was the oldest engineer on his team. Surrounded by 25-year-olds who coded in languages he was still learning, who worked 80-hour weeks without complaining, who had energy he no longer had. A quiet panic set in. I'm becoming irrelevant. I'm too old. They're going to replace me. So Thomas worked harder, longer hours, nights and weekends, proving he could keep up, proving he still mattered, proving his worth. but his body couldn't keep up. He started having panic attacks in the middle of meetings, chest tight, heart racing, couldn't breathe. He'd excuse himself, lock himself in a bathroom stall, and try to calm down. What's wrong with me? I used to be able to handle this. And sleep became impossible. He'd lie awake, mind running, optimizing code in his head, planning tomorrow's sprint, worrying about the junior engineer who was faster than him. Even on vacation, he couldn't relax. He brought his laptop, checked Slack, couldn't stop, because stopping felt like dying. If he wasn't working, who was he? The panic attacks got worse. His wife finally said, "You need help. This isn't living." Thomas started therapy, and his therapist asked him a question that broke something open. Who are you when you're not working? Thomas stared at her, mouth open, no answer. He didn't know. He had no hobbies, no interests outside tech, no identity beyond engineer. For 30 years, he'd been what he produced. And now, he couldn't produce enough to feel safe. His therapist gave him strange homework. Go sit in a park for 30 minutes. Don't bring your phone. Don't bring a book. Just sit. Thomas thought she was joking. What's the point? That's not productive. Exactly, she said. The first time Thomas tried it, he lasted 5 minutes. Then he was reaching for his phone, checking messages, making it productive. But he kept trying, and slowly, something happened. He started noticing things, birds, trees, the way light moved through leaves. Not because it was useful, just because it was happening. He started noticing his breath, in and out, working without his control, without his effort. And a thought came to him, a quiet, strange thought. I am breathing right now. I am alive. Not because I produced something, just because I'm here. Thomas started small. Mornings before work, he'd sit in his backyard. 10 minutes, just breathing, just being. He practiced saying something that felt ridiculous at first. I am enough. I did enough today. Not, I will be enough when I achieve more. Just, I am enough. Now, as I am. He started gardening, getting his hands in dirt, growing things that took time, that couldn't be rushed or optimized. He started cooking with his wife, slow meals, talking, laughing, things that weren't productive, but made him feel alive. Slowly, the panic attacks stopped, not because he worked less. He still worked full-time, but he stopped working nights. He started mentoring younger engineers, not competing with them, teaching them. And he discovered something surprising. They respected him more for his wisdom than his output. His value wasn't in how fast he coded. It was in what he knew, what he'd learned, what he could share. Thomas still writes code, but he's not a code-writing machine anymore. He's a human being who writes code. There's a difference. And at night now, when he lies down, he can sleep. Because he's no longer proving anything. He's just existing. And existence, he finally learned, is enough. Thomas discovered what the Buddha taught. You are not what you do. You're a human being, not a human doing. Your worth doesn't need to be achieved. It's inherent. You exist. Therefore, you matter. Now, Rachel learned to rest her body. Thomas learned to rest his worth. But there's another kind of exhaustion. The exhaustion of caring too much. Let me tell you about Keisha. Keisha is 28, a social worker in Child Protective Services in Atlanta. She always wanted to help people. Even as a kid, she was the one who noticed when someone was hurting. So becoming a social worker felt like destiny. But no one prepared her for the weight. Every day, Keisha carries other people's trauma. Children removed from homes, families in crisis, stories that would break most people. And Keisha holds them, listens, advocates, fights for these kids in a system that's underfunded and overwhelmed. She's good at her job, really good, but there's a cost. She can't turn it off. At night, White, she lies in bed and she sees their faces. The children she couldn't save, the families she couldn't help enough. She replays conversations. What if I'd said something different? What if I'd pushed harder? Sleep feels dangerous because when her guard is down, the trauma comes flooding in. Keisha developed a belief. I can rest when everyone's okay. But in Child Protective Services, everyone is never okay. There's always another case, another crisis, another child who needs her, so she never rested. She worked through lunch, stayed late, brought case files home, responded to texts and calls at midnight because what if it's an emergency? What if a kid needs me? Her friends stopped inviting her out. She always said no. Her boyfriend eventually left. You care more about your cases than us. But to Keisha, that felt right, sacrificial, noble, even. These kids have no one else. How can I rest when they're suffering? By 27, Keisha was burned out. Not just tired, hollowed out. She'd cry in her car before work, numb during sessions, detached from her own life. And then one day, in a team meeting, she started crying and couldn't stop. Her supervisor recognized it immediately. Vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue. She mandated Keisha take 2 weeks off and see a therapist. In therapy, Keisha said something that revealed everything. I can't rest. If I rest, I'm selfish. These kids don't get to rest. Why should I? Her therapist looked at her kindly. You think you're helping them by destroying yourself? Keisha blinked. Because you're not, her therapist continued. You're running on empty. And when you're empty, you can't give anything real. She used a metaphor that stuck with Keisha. You can't pour from an empty cup. And Keisha, you're not even a cup anymore. You're a puddle. The therapist taught Keisha a practice called metta, loving kindness, but with a twist. You're going to start with yourself. Keisha resisted. That feels selfish. Try it anyway. So Keisha sat quietly and whispered the words her therapist taught her. May I be safe. May I be held. May I be free from suffering. And she burst into tears. Because she'd never, not once, included herself in her compassion. She'd given it to everyone, the children, the families, even strangers, but never herself. Keisha started practicing boundaries. At 6 p.m., she left work, turned off her phone, let calls go to voicemail. At first, the guilt was crushing. What if someone needs me? But her therapist reminded her, someone always needs you. The question is, are you going to be alive to help them? She started an evening ritual. Before bed, she'd stand in her doorway and whisper, I release what isn't mine to carry. The children's trauma wasn't hers. She could hold it with compassion, but she couldn't absorb it. There's a difference. She practiced self-compassion breaks during the workday. 3 minutes, hand on heart. This is hard. I'm doing my best. I'm human. Simple words, but revolutionary for someone who'd never been gentle with herself. And at night, before sleep, she'd do a body scan, releasing the day, releasing what she'd held. My body heals when I rest. My body needs me to survive. Today, Keisha is still a social worker. She still carries hard stories, still advocates for kids who need her. But she sleeps now because she learned something crucial. Compassion includes yourself. Healing the world doesn't mean destroying yourself. You cannot give from an empty well. And rest isn't selfish. It's how you keep showing up. Keisha learned what the Buddha taught. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You can care deeply without carrying everything. You can help others while still honoring yourself. And rest isn't abandonment. It's replenishment. 3 people, 3 different struggles. Rachel, learning her worth isn't her productivity. Thomas, learning his identity isn't his output. Keisha, learning compassion includes herself. But notice what they all discovered. They didn't heal by trying harder, by pushing through, by forcing rest. They healed by stopping, by releasing the rope they'd been gripping, by remembering something the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. Something that challenges everything our culture believes about worth and work and rest. Let's explore what he discovered. 3 different people. Rachel, exhausted from holding a hospital together. Thomas, terrified his worth was disappearing. Keisha, drowning in everyone else's pain. 3 different struggles. But notice what they all discovered. They didn't heal by trying harder. They didn't fix themselves by adding more effort. They healed by stopping, by releasing, by learning to do something our culture never taught them. They learned to stop striving. This is what the Buddha discovered 2,500 years ago. Sitting under a tree, watching his own mind, he noticed something profound. Effort creates tension. Striving creates suffering. Grasping makes everything harder. And the irony is, the harder you try to control life, the more exhausted you become. He called this insight non-striving, and it's one of the most misunderstood teachings in Buddhism. Because in English, non-striving sounds like giving up, like being lazy, like lowering your standards. But that's not what it means at all. Let me show you what the Buddha actually discovered. Look at a tree. Does a tree try to grow? Does it force its branches toward the sky? Does it stress about whether it's growing fast enough? No, it simply grows. Given sunlight and water and soil, growth happens naturally, without effort, without striving. The tree doesn't make itself grow. Growth is what it does, because that's what trees are. Or think about your heartbeat. Right now, your heart is beating. Without your permission, without your effort, without you doing anything at all. You don't wake up every morning and think, "Okay, heart, let's get 100,000 beats done today." It just happens. Your lungs breathe, your cells regenerate, your body digests, your blood flows. Life is happening through you, not because of you. But somewhere along the way, you learned something different. You learned that nothing happens unless you force it. That if you don't push, control, manage, optimize every outcome, everything will fall apart. You learned that your worth depends on your effort. That rest is something you earn after you've produced enough. That life is a problem you have to solve through constant striving. And that belief has been exhausting you. The Buddha saw this pattern in his own life. Before his awakening, he tried everything to find peace. He practiced extreme discipline, fasted until he nearly died, meditated until his body broke down. He strived, he pushed, he forced, and it didn't work. It was only when he stopped, when he sat down under that tree and released all effort, when he simply allowed himself to be without trying to become anything. That's when clarity came, not through force, through release. This is non-striving, not giving up on life, but giving up the rope in a tug of war you cannot win. Not becoming passive, but understanding the difference between effort and force, between action and compulsion, between doing what's needed and trying to control what cannot be controlled. Think of it like this. You're swimming in a river. The current is strong. If you fight the current, swimming directly against it, you'll exhaust yourself. You might even drown. But if you angle yourself slightly, if you work with the current instead of against it, you can reach the shore without the struggle. That's non-striving, not stopping the swim, but stopping the fight. Rachel discovered this when she stopped trying to hold the hospital together. She realized the system didn't need her exhaustion. It needed her presence. And presence doesn't require force. It requires allowing. Thomas discovered this when he stopped trying to prove his worth through output. He realized he could simply exist without justifying that existence through achievement. Keisha discovered this when she stopped trying to save everyone. She realized she could care without carrying, help without absorbing, give without depleting. They all released the rope, and in that release, they found what they'd been striving for all along: peace, rest, the ability to breathe. But non-striving points to something even deeper, a question that might change everything. The Buddha asked it this way: are you a human doing or a human being? Western culture gave you an answer before you could even ask the question. It taught you, I think, therefore I am. Your identity is what you accomplish. Your worth is what you produce. You are what you do. This is doing mode. And you've been living in it for so long, you might not even know there's another way. But the Buddha taught something radically different. He said, you are not what you do. You are the awareness that notices the doing. You are not your productivity. You are the being beneath all the activity. You are not your achievements. You are the life that breathes regardless of achievement. You exist. That's it. That's the whole thing. And existence doesn't need justification. Think about a newborn baby. Does a baby earn love by being productive? By accomplishing tasks? By justifying its existence? No. A baby is loved simply because it exists. Its worth isn't measured by what it does. Its worth is inherent in its being. And here's what the Buddha understood. You're still that baby. You never stopped being worthy of love and rest and peace simply because you exist. But you learned to believe you had to earn it. You learned that being isn't enough. You have to be doing to matter. And that belief has been killing you. This is the shift from doing mode to being mode. Doing mode says, I am valuable when I produce. Being mode says, I am valuable because I am. Doing mode says, I'll rest when the work is done. Being mode says, rest is how I stay alive to do the work. Doing mode is always reaching for the next thing, the next achievement, the next proof of worth. Being mode is already here, already whole, already enough. And here's the paradox the Buddha discovered. When you stop striving to be enough, you realize you already were. When you stop trying to earn your worth, you remember it was never something to earn. When you release doing mode and rest in being mode, you become more effective, not less. Because you're no longer exhausted. You're no longer fighting yourself. You're no longer running on empty. This isn't just ancient philosophy. Modern science is discovering what the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. Let me show you what's happening in your body when you're burned out. Your nervous system has two modes. The sympathetic nervous system, that's your gas pedal. Fight or flight. Action, alertness, survival mode. The parasympathetic nervous system. That's your break, rest, digest, repair. Healing mode. You need both. They're supposed to balance each other. But when you're in chronic burnout, something goes wrong. Your gas pedal gets stuck. Your sympathetic system is always on, and your brake stops working. Your parasympathetic system shuts down. This isn't a metaphor. This is physiology. When you're in constant doing mode, constant striving, constant stress, your body interprets that as a threat. Not a lion chasing you, but an inbox that never empties, deadlines that never stop, expectations that keep rising. Your body thinks you're in danger, so it keeps you in survival mode. And in survival mode, rest isn't possible. Your body literally forgets how to rest. Dr. Robert Sapolsky, a Stanford neuroscientist, spent decades studying stress. He discovered something crucial. Your body is designed to handle acute stress. A lion appears. You run. The lion leaves. You recover. But your body is not designed for chronic stress. The lion that never leaves. The threat that never ends. And modern life has become that constant threat. Always on, always available, always behind, always not enough. Your body treats this like a survival emergency. And in an emergency, you don't rest, you push through. But here's what happens when you push through for too long. Chronic cortisol, inflammation, immune system suppression, cardiovascular strain. your body starts breaking down. Not because you're weak, because you're a mammal, and mammals need rest to survive. This exhaustion you feel isn't failure. It's your body's wisdom trying to save your life. And there's more. Neuroscientists discovered something about rest that changes everything. When you're doing nothing, when you're just sitting, not working, not producing, your brain isn't idle. It's in what's called default mode. And in default mode, your brain is doing its most important work. Processing, integrating, making connections, healing. Rest isn't wasted time. Rest is when your brain does its deepest work. The creative insights, the problem-solving breakthroughs, the emotional integration. They don't happen when you're grinding. They happen when you stop. So when the Buddha taught non-striving, when he taught being versus doing, he wasn't being poetic. He was describing reality. Your body knows how to heal, but only when you let it. Your mind knows how to solve problems, but only when you give it space. Your nervous system knows how to regulate, but only when you release the gas pedal. The science confirms what the Buddha discovered. You don't have to force rest, you have to allow it. So what does this mean for you tonight? It means this: you don't have to earn this rest. Your body needs it to survive. You don't have to finish everything first. The work will still be there tomorrow. You don't have to be productive to deserve sleep. You're a living being. Living beings need rest. Period. Tonight, you practice something revolutionary. Being, not doing. Allowing, not forcing. Releasing, not grasping. You practice remembering what you are beneath all the striving. You're not a productivity machine. You're a human being, and being is enough. It always was. Now let's turn this understanding into practice. Let me show you how to shift from doing mode into being mode. How to release the rope you've been gripping. How to let your nervous system finally remember it's safe to rest. Let's begin. Now we move from understanding to practice, from knowing to doing, or rather, from knowing to being. But before we begin, let's be very clear about something. This isn't about adding more to your to-do list. You don't need another task, another responsibility, another thing to get right. You're exhausted because you've been doing too much already. So these practices aren't about doing more. They're about doing less, subtracting, releasing, letting go. And here's the most important thing. You cannot fail at this. There's no right way to rest, no perfect way to be. If you fall asleep during these practices, perfect. That's the point. If your mind wanders, that's not failure. That's just what minds do. If you forget to practice tomorrow, you haven't ruined anything. You just begin again. Progress, not perfection. Actually, not even progress, just presence. Just showing up for yourself, exactly as you are. These practices aren't about becoming better. They're not about fixing yourself or optimizing your performance. They're about remembering something you already are. Whole, worthy, enough, just as you are, right now. Even exhausted, even burned out, even feeling like you're failing at everything, you're still worthy of rest. You always were. So let go of doing this right. Let go of achieving anything. These practices are simply invitations to pause, to breathe, to remember you're a living being, not a productivity machine. That's it. Nothing more complicated than that. Let's begin. The first practice we'll do together right now. Because you don't need to wait. You don't need to prepare. You don't need special conditions. You can practice this anywhere. Anytime your body feels wired and your mind won't stop. It's called the physiological sigh. And it's the fastest way to shift your nervous system from gas pedal to brake. Here's how it works. Your exhale is connected directly to your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest mode. Your brake. When you lengthen your exhale, making it longer than your inhale, you're sending a signal to your body. We're safe now. You can rest. It's not willpower, it's biology. Let's try it together. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Let your body settle into this surface beneath you. Notice you're being held right now. Gravity is doing the work, not you. You don't have to hold yourself up. You can let go. Now, breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. And breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That long exhale is the key. That's your brake engaging. Let's do 3 more cycles together. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now just breathe naturally and notice. Did something shift? Maybe your shoulders dropped. Maybe your jaw softened. Maybe something in your chest released just a little. That's not magic. That's your nervous system finally getting the signal it's been waiting for. You're safe. You can rest. You just practiced 3 breath cycles, maybe 60 seconds total. That's it. That's the whole practice. And you can do this anytime your body feels wired, anytime your mind won't stop. In a meeting, in your car, in line at the store, in bed at 2 a.m. You don't need anything special, just your breath and 60 seconds. That's your reset button. Now, the second practice is for bedtime. When you're lying here, trying to sleep, and your body is tense and your mind is racing. This is a body scan, but not the kind where you're trying to fix or improve anything. This is about permission and release. Here's how it works. You'll move your attention through your body, part by part, not to relax each part, not to make anything happen, just to notice where you're holding, where you're gripping, where you're still in doing mode. And then you'll whisper to each part, "You can rest now." That's it. Notice and release. Let's try it together. Start with your head. Notice your forehead. Is it tight, furrowed, still trying to figure something out? Whisper to it, "You can rest now." You don't need to solve anything tonight. And feel it soften, even just a little. Move to your jaw. Are you clenching? Holding tension you didn't even know was there? Whisper, "You can rest now." No more holding on. Let your jaw drop slightly. Let your teeth separate. Your shoulders, are they up by your ears? Still bracing for the next crisis? Whisper, "You can rest now." Nothing to brace for here. Let them drop, heavy, released. Your hands, are they fists? Gripping even in rest. Whisper, "You can rest now." You can let go. Open your palms. Let your fingers soften. Your chest, is it tight? Breath shallow? Still ready for action? Whisper, "You can rest now." You can breathe fully. Let your next breath go a little deeper. Your belly, are you holding it in? Tense? Guarded? Whisper, "You can rest now. You're safe here." Let it soften. Let it round. No one is watching. No one is judging. Your legs, heavy, so heavy, still ready to run? Whisper, "You can rest now." Know where to go tonight. Feel them sink into the bed, anchored, released. Your feet, all the way down to your toes. Whisper, "You can rest now. The day is over." Let go of the last bit of holding. Now, take one more breath and whisper to your whole body, to your whole self, "You can rest now. You've done enough. You are enough. Rest." This is the practice. Every night before sleep, moving through your body not to fix it, but to give it permission. You can rest now. 3 words, a revolution. And the third practice is for tomorrow morning. Before you check your phone, before you start doing, before the day pulls you into its demands. 5 minutes of being. This isn't meditation. You don't have to empty your mind or achieve some special state. This is simpler than that. You're just going to sit and remember that you exist, not what you do, just that you are. Here's how. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before you reach for your phone, sit up in bed. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart. Feel it beating. That heartbeat isn't something you're doing. It's happening. Your body caring for you, keeping you alive. Without your effort, without your control. Notice your breath, in and out. Again, not something you're making happen. It's just happening. Life breathing itself through you. And then, very simply, notice these words. I am breathing. Not I am achieving. Not I am behind. Not I need to get started. Just I am breathing. I am here. I am alive. That's it. 5 minutes. Not trying to be calm, not trying to be productive, not trying to be anything. Just being. Remembering before the doing starts that you exist. That existence is enough. That you don't have to earn your place here. And if your mind wanders to the to-do list, that's okay. That's not failure. Just notice, I'm planning again. And come back. I am breathing. I am here. 5 minutes of being before a whole day of doing. That's the practice. Now you might be wondering, which practice should I do? When? Let me guide you. If your body feels wired right now, if your heart is racing and your mind won't stop, use the breath practice. 4 in, hold 2, 6 out. 3 cycles, 60 seconds. That's your emergency brake. If you're lying in bed and your body is tense, gripping, unable to release, use the body scan. Move through each part. You can rest now. That's your permission slip. If you wake up tomorrow already anxious, already running through your to-do list before your eyes even open, use the being practice. 5 minutes. Hand on heart. I am breathing. I am here. That's your reminder of who you are beneath all the doing. But honestly, the best practice is the one you'll actually do. So pick one, just one, not all 3. Don't overwhelm yourself. One practice, one day at a time. And if you forget, if you skip it, if life gets in the way, that's okay. You haven't failed. You just begin again. Because here's what matters. These practices aren't about becoming a better meditator. They're not about optimizing your performance or fixing your burnout. They're about remembering in your body what your mind has forgotten. You are allowed to rest. You don't have to earn it. You never did. Now, let's bring everything together. All you've learned tonight, all you've understood, all you've practiced. Let's integrate it into your body so you can finally rest. Let's bring everything together now. Everything you've learned tonight, everything you've understood, everything you've practiced. Let's weave it into something simple, something you can carry with you, or rather, something you can let go of. Tonight, you heard stories. Rachel, who learned that the hospital didn't need her exhaustion. It needed her alive. Thomas, who discovered his worth wasn't in what he produced, but in the fact that he existed at all. Keisha, who understood that compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. 3 different people, 3 different paths, but one common truth. Rest is not something you earn. It's not a reward for finishing your work. It's not a luxury you get to enjoy after you've proven your worth. Rest is a biological necessity. You're a mammal. Mammals need rest to survive. That's it. That's the whole permission structure. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to earn it. You just need it to stay alive. You learned about non-striving. The Buddha's teaching that effort creates tension. Grasping creates suffering. Striving makes everything harder. Non-striving isn't giving up. It's releasing the rope in a tug of war you cannot win. It's working with the current instead of against it. It's understanding that life happens through you, not because of you. Your heart beats without your permission. Your lungs breathe without your effort. And rest, too, doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be allowed. You learned about being versus doing. Western culture taught you that your worth is what you achieve. Your value is what you produce. But the Buddha taught something different. You are not a human doing. You're a human being. And being doesn't require justification. A baby doesn't earn love by accomplishing tasks. A tree doesn't prove its worth by growing fast enough. You exist. That's enough. That always was enough. And you learned that your exhaustion isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Your body has been trying to tell you something. Please stop. I need you to survive. Not produce more, not achieve more, just survive. This burnout you feel isn't failure. It's your body's last attempt to get your attention, to remind you that you are not a machine. You're a living, breathing being, and living beings need rest. You practiced 3 things tonight. The breath, 4 in, hold 2, 6 out. Your emergency brake. Your nervous system reset. The body scan. Moving through each part, whispering, "You can rest now." Your permission slip. The being practice. 5 minutes before doing starts. Hand on heart. I am breathing. I am here. Your reminder. 3 practices, simple, accessible, yours to use whenever you need them. But here's what I want you to know. You don't need to remember all of this. You don't need to implement everything perfectly tomorrow. You don't need to become a better meditator or a more mindful person. You don't need to fix yourself. Your body already knows how to rest. It's been trying to rest for weeks, months, maybe years. You've just been overriding its signals, pushing through, forcing yourself to keep going. Tonight, you stop overriding. You finally listen. So let it all go now. The teachings, the practices, the stories, even these words. Let them settle into your body, not your mind. Your mind has been working hard enough. Let your body take over now. It knows what to do. Feel your body right now. Notice how heavy it's becoming, how your head is sinking into the pillow, how your shoulders are melting down into the bed, how your arms and legs feel like they weigh 1,000 pounds. This heaviness isn't tiredness, it's release. It's your body finally getting the signal it's been waiting for. You can stop now. You're safe. You can rest. Your breath is slowing without you trying, without you controlling it. Your body knows how to slow down, how to shift from gas pedal to brake, from doing mode to being mode, from striving to allowing. It's happening right now, without your effort, because this is what bodies do when they're finally given permission. Every muscle is softening. Every cell is letting go. All the tension you've been carrying, all the weight you've been holding, all the striving you've been doing, it's releasing now, falling away, like snow melting, like ice thawing, like a clenched fist finally opening. You're being held right now by this bed, by this darkness, by this moment. You don't have to hold yourself together anymore. The earth is holding you. Gravity is doing the work. You can let go completely. There's nothing left to do tonight. No problems to solve, no worth to prove, no productivity to achieve. Just this breath, just this body, just this moment of being. You are enough, right now, exactly as you are, exhausted, burned out, feeling like you've failed at everything. You're still enough. You always were. Rest now. Let everything go. we'll close together gently into sleep. May you rest deeply tonight. May you finally stop. Stop striving. Stop proving. Stop pushing through. May you remember in your bones that rest is not something you earn. It's how you stay alive. May you release the belief that your worth is measured by your productivity. May you truly know that you are enough. Not when you achieve more, not when you finish the to-do list, not when you prove yourself one more time. Now, as you are, exhausted and burned out and feeling like you failed, you're still enough. You always were. May you forgive yourself for being human in an inhuman pace, for trying so hard, for giving so much, for running yourself into the ground. You didn't know. You were taught that this is what it means to be worthy, to be busy, to be exhausted, to sacrifice yourself. But you know differently now. May you wake tomorrow remembering that you are a being, not a machine. That your body has wisdom. That this exhaustion was it speaking, trying to save your life. May you listen to it tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. May you be gentle with your tired body. It's been carrying you so far, through so much, with so little rest. It deserves your tenderness, your care, your gratitude, not your criticism, not your demands, not your disappointment. May you treat it like you would a dear friend who's exhausted, with compassion, with softness, with permission to just be. May you know that stopping is not failure. Resting is not weakness. Being is not laziness. You are allowed to exist without producing, without achieving, without justifying your place here. You belong to this earth simply because you breathe, and that has always been enough. May you sleep now, held by something larger than your to-do list, held by the darkness that asks nothing of you, held by the night that has no expectations, held by this moment that simply is. You've done enough today. You've been enough today. You are enough. Nothing left to do now. No lists to make. No problems to solve. No worth to prove. The day is over. The work can wait. Tomorrow is tomorrow. For now, just this darkness, this breath, this rest. You don't have to hold yourself together anymore. You can fall apart here. You can let go completely. This bed is holding you. This earth is holding you. You are held. Let your body do what it knows how to do. Let it soften. Let it slow. Let it sink. every muscle releasing, every thought fading, every bit of trying gone. Feel yourself sinking now, down, deeper, heavy, safe. Your breath is so quiet now, barely there, just a whisper in and out. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, just rest. Sinking, softening, safe. You are held. Rest. Sleep. Rest well, friend.